Fairy Tales by Hans Christian Andersen. Read by Alan Cumming, Nigel Davenport, Andrew Sachs, and Juliet Stevenson. The Snow Queen, a story in 7 parts. Part the first, which tells of the looking glass and the splinters. Listen now. We're going to begin our story. When we come to the end of it, we shall know more than we do now. There was once a wicked imp, a demon, one of the very worst. He was the devil himself. One day there he was, laughing his head off. Why? Because he'd made a magic mirror with a special power. Everything good and beautiful that was reflected in it shriveled up almost to nothing, but everything evil and ugly seemed even larger and more hideous than it was. In this glass, the loveliest landscapes looked just like boiled spinach, and even the nicest people appeared quite horrible, or seemed to be standing on their heads, or to have no trunks to their bodies. As for their faces, they were so twisted and changed that no one could have recognized them. And if anything holy and serious passed through someone's mind, a hideous sneering grin was shown in the glass. This was a huge joke. All the students who attended his demon school went around declaring that he'd achieved a miracle. Now, for the first time, everyone could see what the world and its humans were really like. They took the mirror and ran around to the 4 corners of the earth until there wasn't a place or person unharmed by the glass. At last, they fixed on a still more daring plan: to fly up to heaven, to make fun of the angels and of God himself. The higher they flew with the mirror, the more it grimaced and twisted. They could scarcely hold on to it. Up and up they went, nearer and nearer to heaven's kingdom, until disaster. The mirror shook so violently with its weird reflections that it sprang out of their hands and went crashing down to earth, where it burst into hundreds of millions, billions, trillions of tiny pieces. And that made matters even worse than before, for some of these pieces were hardly as big as a grain of sand. These flew here and there, all through the wide world. Whoever got a speck in his eye saw everything good as bad or twisted, for every little splinter had the same power that the whole glass had. Some people even caught a splinter in their hearts, and that was horrible, for their hearts became just like lumps of ice. Some of the pieces were so big that they were used as window panes, but it didn't do to look at your friends through them. Other pieces were made into spectacles. Imagine! The demon laughed till he nearly split his sides. And as we tell this story, little splinters of magic glass are still flying about in the air. Listen, you shall hear what happened to some of them. Part the second. A little boy and a little girl. In a big city, where there are so many houses and people that there isn't room for everyone to have a garden, and so most people have to make do with flowers in pots, there once lived 2 poor children. But these 2 did have a garden a little larger than a flower pot. They were not brother and sister, but they were just as fond of each other as if they had been. Their parents were next-door neighbours. They lived in attics at the tops of next-door houses. Where the sloping roofs almost touched, a gutter ran along between, and across this each house had a little window facing the other. You'd only to step along the strip of roof to cross from window to window. The parents each had a wooden box standing outside the window, and here they grew vegetables and herbs. They had little rose trees, too, one in each box, and these grew gloriously. The pea plants trailed over the edges. The rose trees put out long branches, some twining around the windows, some bending over towards the opposite bush, making a kind of arch of leaves and flowers. The children would often
Sample complete. Ready to continue?